quite often when I talk to people and I give them our background, I talk about how we started with absolutely nothing financially, and all we have done and how we've created this business is from the work of our hands and from using our minds and using the resources around us, non-financial resources around us, to actually build this company from the ground up. And when I talk to people about that, they're really quite inspired and they ask me a lot of questions. How did you do it? What were the challenges? How can I do it as well?
1, 2, 3, 4.
So welcome to everyone who's joined. I'm still expecting a few more people to join, but I think we do need to make a start so that we're able to finish your time on time. I want to be able to respect your time like you've respected my time. So thank you very much, everybody. Okay, so to start us off, guys, my name is Ruth. I'm the author of the lovely book that we're talking about today. I'm really excited to be here. And I'm just so grateful that I've had this opportunity to be able to meet with you guys. Oh, something's happened there, sorry. Tech issues. Yeah, so I'm really very excited that you've joined me in the book launch. My book, From Dream to Reality, a guidebook for launching your successful care business with confidence. It's a very exciting topic for me, and I'm hoping that we'll get to talk a little bit more about it today, and you will all benefit something from it. It's been a passion project for me for some time, and I'm really excited about sharing it with you. First of all, I do want to just say thank you very much for your support. So I've had a lot of people following me on social media. I've got people who've purchased the book. I've got people who've downloaded the book. And I'm very excited about the feedback that I've had so far already. It's been really very positive. And I thank you so much for just being with me on this journey, for sharing my posts, or even if today is the first time you've ever heard about Ruth and you've just decided to join, I really definitely appreciate your presence. So thank you very much for that. So what you can see in front of you guys is the dedication. This book is dedicated to my parents, Stefania and Peter. Those are people who've had a very profound effect on me in my entire life. I was very fortunate to have a very good upbringing, and they always encouraged me and pushed me to just go as far as I possibly could. My dad's mantra was always, the sky is your limit. And I would hope that he's very proud of me and my mom are proud of me, as I have now finally produced this book that I've been waiting a long time to write. So the book is dedicated very much to them in terms of the impact that they've had on my life. But I do certainly want to acknowledge how I've ended up here. I definitely would not have been able to do what I'm doing without my family. So I am the lovely wife of the love of my life. I'm very fortunate to be married to the love of my life. You can laugh. And I've got two young adult children who I love very much. And my family have been very supportive. They've listened to me while I'm moaning about not being able to get forward with the book. They've listened to me talking and talking and talking to death about the book, and this book that never came out for years and years. But they've supported me all the way through, and I really am so grateful and for everything that they've done for me. And just to tell you a little bit about myself, I suppose, so that you understand what qualifies me to talk to you today in the first place and how we've ended up here. So I am a registered mental health nurse by background. I've been practicing in England for over 25 years as a registered nurse. And I've been working in health and social care services for around about 30 years now. So don't try and work out my age. Um, and I've enjoyed working in health and social care services. I've managed to work from the ground all the way up to the top. So I've worked as a care assistant, a support worker, whatever guys you want to call that, all the way through to the top to very senior management leadership positions, both in the NHS and in the private sector. And having covered that length and breadth of care services, I do have a good broad understanding of things, both from the very bottom all the way up to the strategic level. And about 5 years ago, my husband and I decided to go it alone and set up a care business. So we currently have a care business called S&P Care. We're very proud of it, and we've set it again from the ground up, with very, very little support and direction, but managed to actually get through a number of challenges, and the business is really successful at the moment. We've done really well. We're quite respected locally in our local area. Last year in 2024, we were very proud to have attained the top 20 home care providers award. So we're the only provider in Buckinghamshire that's actually on the top 20 list for the Home Care Association 2024. So that's something that it's a badge of honor that we wear with pride. And that's all due to the support that we have from our staff. We've got a really great team that we've managed to build, and the support that we get from our clients as well. We are actually very fortunate to have really good clients who certainly appreciate everything that we do for them. And I think when you've got that quid pro quo where you're appreciating them, they're appreciating too, things work very well together. So we've been quite fortunate in that way. And more recently, we were shortlisted as finalists for the Home Care Awards 2025. So again, very, very excited about that. I think just to be nominated and to be in the finals is actually such a big deal for us. The award show is going to be held in March. So fingers crossed, and please, all the best for us, guys, all the best wishes. We're looking forward to actually getting away with the prize on that one. So that's all about me, all about my background, and how we've ended up here. In terms of the inspiration for the book, I suppose what I'll say is that I've wanted to write a book for over 20 years, and I have been talking about it. As I said, my family and friends, people who are close to me, they will tell you I'm always talking about, oh, I'd love to write a book about this, I'd love to write a book about that. And I finally managed to get the opportunity to write this book, and I was really inspired by the people who I've worked with over the course of the last 5 years. First of all, the challenges that we've had in our business that have allowed us to get to where we are. Quite often when I talk to people and I give them our background, I talk about how we started with absolutely nothing financially, and all we have done and how we've created this business is from the work of our hands and from using our minds and using the resources around us, non-financial resources around us, to actually build this company from the ground up. And when I talk to people about that, they're really quite inspired, and they ask me a lot of questions. How did you do it? What were the challenges? How can I do it as well? And I've also been very fortunate enough to have supported people to actually set up their care businesses. So I've managed to coach a couple of people to set up their businesses from this from nothing again, all the way into actually starting to trade. So I've had a few people who I'm pleased that I've managed to do that, and I can actually see the success and the impact that I've had. And the more I've spoken to people and the more people have asked me, I just thought it would make sense to put all of my thoughts and ideas into a book. And essentially, that's how this book came about. It was really born from that whole idea of helping people. I am somebody who I enjoy giving and I enjoy helping other people, and that's what gets me going. I think I apply that to my personal life, I apply that to my professional life, I apply that to my business life. And the more I help people and I actually see that I've got an impact, I've had an impact, and it gives me purpose. It makes me feel that I am here for a reason and I'm having an impact on people's lives. And I really enjoy that. That just motivates me and it keeps me going. So that's how the this book ended up coming about in the first place. And one of the things that I was very keen to do is when I myself was starting out, when my husband and I were starting out, like I said before, we had very little resources, and there was very little in terms of guidance on how to do things. And the amount of guidance, the guidance that was available were very complicated, very stuffy, very packed bits of information that just make it really difficult for you to actually understand, okay, so what do I need to do next? I know these are the different aspects of care. I know there's CQC. Do I register with CQC? Do I not register with CQC? Which one is better? Do I start with dom care? Do I start with supported living? Shall I get a care home? Shall I go for a franchise? People have told me I should do a franchise. That's easier. I've been told I need to have £50,000 to get started. Do I need to have that amount of money and all of that sort of stuff? So these were all questions that we had, and trying to get to the bottom of the answers was really quite difficult. So what I wanted to do with this book really was to just produce something that is very easily accessible for people. You can see, for those who've ordered the book already on Amazon, you'll see it's a very handy book to just carry around with you. You're able to actually make notes in it. So one of the things that's really helpful is being able to make notes in it as you go along. So you read, you reflect, you understand the key concepts, and you make some notes and you actually take decisive actions. So the whole idea with this book was that it would be a really easy read. It would give you a good starting point. So it's not going to give you all the answers in the world, and it's not going to set up the business for you. You still have to go and take some action and, do that yourself. But what this book does is it inspires you into action, which is a very important thing, because I think a lot of the time, the challenge that we have is the actual getting started. That's the bit that people struggle with, and they don't know, okay, where do I start? How do I get on and do things? So that was the whole idea with the book, is let's get you a starting point, let's get you launched and going. So I hope you'll appreciate it for that. So it's got some key steps within the book of, step-by-step guide. How do I get started? What do I do first? So the whole idea is you have to have the right mindset first. So we talk a little bit about that, talking about the environment, the healthcare setup that's available here in the UK, so that you're able to actually make a decision about which one do I want to start with. Then going into the nitty-gritties, the legal side. Anyone who knows anything about healthcare services in England will understand that it's really important to have your legal, to be very clear on what your legal systems are and processes are, and make sure that you're just working within the confines of the law. So that's really quite important. And then you start thinking about things like the marketing. How am I going to actually market? Who is it? What clients am I going to have? Where am I going to have the clients? That's often a question that I'm asked quite a lot by people who've maybe set up elsewhere and then they've come and spoken with me and said, Ruth, I don't know how to get clients. Where do I get the clients? We've covered all that in the book. The finances, the financing side, it's important for you to have a grip on your finances right from the word go. In as much as you're setting up this care business to help people and support people and touch people's lives and make things better for them, give them independence and all the wonderful things about care, at the end of the day, this is a business and you need to be able to make profits and make sustainable profits so that you're able to invest back into the business and you're able to grow. So understanding the money is really quite critical for you to do. Having a business plan, having a very clear business plan, that's another important aspect. And I find that people get freaked out when they hear business plan, because if you have a look online and see what's available, it always looks very, very complicated and it scares people off really. You just think it's such a big document that I need to complete and I need to then send it to the bank, and the bank will have a look at the business plan and they'll either give me the money or they don't give me the money, and it's really hyped up to be something really complex. But I do break it down in the book to really just simplify it and make you think about what the critical issues are that you have to think about when you're doing your business plan. So the whole book is really just set up to give you that overview and to get you started on your journey as a care business owner. One of the things that I'd like to do for the time being is, if you don't mind, for me to just read through an excerpt from the book, just telling you a little bit about the money bit. So this is an example. If you think about that in terms of the writing style that I've used, I want to keep things very straightforward. I don't want it to be overly complicated, but I want the important things to be covered. So what you've got there in front of you is the excerpt from the finance section of the book. So I'm just going to read through it so that you can get a bit of an understanding. The money bit. The money piece is often neglected in care businesses and yet is one of the most critical aspects. Talking about profit in the health and social care industry, especially in the UK, is often seen as a taboo. And yet, without a healthy, thriving business, it is not possible to reinvest and continue to drive excellence and innovation. It is fundamental to the very survival of your care business that you start with a culture of keeping on top of the bottom line without compromising on quality and all the other important aspects of your care business. So that's really just talking about the money side of things. And I think that, again, is quite an important point because, as I said, in the UK, because we've got the National Health Service, which is, for all intents and purposes, another religion for us, we do then tend not so much to think about care being profitable. It just sounds like a wrong thing that you would be benefiting from helping people to provide care. But the reality is that if you are actually providing a high quality service and you're reinvesting in your business, you are able to have both. You are able to have a thriving care business that's actually providing really good care for people, as well as providing a profit that is sustainable. So that's really quite important. So that's just a little bit of a flavor of the book, guys. I hope that you found that really helpful. I'd like for us to just break out. I know we've had a couple more people join us. If you guys have any questions that you would like to ask me about the book, please feel free. This is the interactive, engaging session. So if we've got any questions, I'm quite happy to take those. The floor is yours. Okay, I've got someone, Shami, asking me there, what was the most difficult part about writing the book? So I think the most difficult part for me was probably time and finding the time. So the care business itself is really very busy, and that keeps me going. I'm the registered manager as well for the business. I'm very hands-on and very involved in the business because I really enjoy it. So I've got that side. And then at home, I've got a very active family who also want me involved and engaged in everything that's going on at home. So trying to balance that in itself is a feat. And then add to that writing a book, that definitely was a challenge in terms of finding the time to actually write. What I did find though is that once I'd actually fixed my mindset, because I did spend a lot of time saying, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. But once I'd actually decided that I am definitely going ahead with this, all of a sudden I managed to find the time. And whether that was early in the morning, just before I went to work, when I would stop and do some reflection and have a think about what else is going to be really important for people. I would actually put that in the book. I'd spend some time writing. Or in the evening, when I come back from work, I would sit down again and spend some time, an hour or two, just writing the book and editing the book. And eventually, before I knew it, the book was out. I think a lot of the time, this is very much like when you're setting up the care business as well. It's about momentum. Once you actually get started and you've got that momentum, it's easy to get going. So we really get caught up. We spend a lot of time in our minds, and this applies to any business, not just care business, any situation. I think we tend to spend a lot more time in our heads, in our minds, trying to think which is the right way, which way should I go, and so on. And sometimes it's just about starting. And I found that once I actually started, it was a lot easier. I was able to actually just carry on the basis that I'd started. So hopefully that answers that question. I'm just looking through the questions again. Feel free to unmute yourself and speak up if you'd like to. I'm quite happy for people to do that. What time frame are we looking at setting up a care business from starting to getting it going? Okay, that's a really good question. Again, that I get quite often. So there are two parts to the answer. There are things that are under your control and the things that are not under your control. So the things that are under your control are you, I don't know, just deciding that you're going to set up the business, you deciding on things like what's the business going to be called, who am I going to be looking after, is it going to be supported living, is it going to be domiciliary care, is it going to be a care home, what is it that I'm actually going to be doing, you deciding I'm going to call this company such and such name, and then going and registering on Companies House and getting that going. All of those things are things that are within your control. So those things, those are the areas where you have the opportunity to impact on the timeline. So if you're going to take your time with things like that, it could take as long as you want it to take. All of that process itself, you making those decisions and actually getting going with all that, that's something that can be done in a couple of weeks. It doesn't really take that long at all. But on the other side, what you also have is the timelines that are not within your control. So, for example, the biggest one that I can think of is the CQC registration, or if you're in other parts of England, registering with bodies like the Welsh body and so on. So if you're registering with the CQC, their process from beginning to end takes a minimum of 12 weeks. So if you have that awareness that those are the time frames that are not negotiable, no matter how quickly I want to do things, if I'm registering with the CQC, their time frame is 12 weeks from beginning to end. And that includes everything from you putting in your application, from the point you submit your application, all the way through to them doing the checks. You'll need to have a DBS check completed. You'll need to, they'll need to do reference checks that they complete. You'll also need to go through a registered manager interview in order for you to appoint your registered manager. So all those things happen during that time frame. So the 12 weeks is non-negotiable, and then the rest of the rest of the items that need to be checked off your checklist, they're negotiable. So really, it's about you trying to get both of those things going at the same time, so that you have a full awareness of where your limitations are. Things like registering on Companies House, you can register today. Within 24 hours, your company will be up and running on Companies House. So those sorts of timelines are very short. Again, I hope that's helpful. I hope you're getting value from this, guys. Okay. Oh, Liz apologizes for joining a little late, and she asked about what inspired me to write the book. I did speak about this earlier, and I was talking about the idea that I'm genuinely somebody who likes to just help people. And I've had a number of people come and speak with me. Once they've heard my journey, once they've heard my husband's journey and how we've ended up setting up this company, there are people who've come and spoken with us and asked us how we set up. And there are people who we've actually supported through the setup process from beginning to end, and their companies are up and running and doing well right now. So the more I've had people ask me questions, the more I just thought I need to put that into a book. And that's how the book came about, really. Somebody else is asking there, Val is asking, how did you navigate the process of obtaining licenses and how long did it take? So I touched on that around the duration of getting the licenses. That's the CQC registration, effectively. That's the main thing that you need to take, that you need to make sure that you have. And like I said, it's around about 12 weeks. One of the things that I always advise people is it's important to get the help and the support that you can from people who will support you, from their companies that will help you set it up and do it for you from beginning to end. There are companies that you've got business coaches that will support you and talk you through the process. But one of the things that I always advise people to do is to actually go out and do your own research, because it's important that you don't end up in a situation where you are losing money because somebody has led you up the garden path and they've taken you down to do things that you don't that aren't actually relevant to setting up the care business. So if you do your own research, it's very important in you actually getting to where you need to go. And when you look online, places like the CQC website is full of information on how to do things. If you decide to go down the sponsorship route, for example, you've decided to say, I'm going to have sponsored workers. There is so much information that is available on the government website, rather than going all over the place and asking in all sorts of different forums and getting unqualified answers. Get that information from there. And that also helps you to be able to actually navigate through those processes. but yeah, it is a case of just taking step by step. And I do talk about it as well in the book. It does talk about the different things that you need to do, the different boxes you need to tick in order for you to be able to actually get yourself set up. So great. Thank you very much. I see there aren't any more questions. I don't know if I've missed any questions. How can I get your mentorship coaching support? Great. That's a good question. If you hold fire on that, I will talk about that some more as we go on. So that takes me nicely into the next section. So in terms of the book itself, it's available for you to buy. It's now out on Amazon. So guys, go knock yourself out. I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review once you've purchased the book. If you think it's good and if you think it's something that will help other people as well, please certainly leave a review, because that encourages other people to buy. We do have a special launch offer available. I think quite a few people who are on this webinar anyway would have had access to downloading the first chapter for free. So if you'd like to download the first chapter for free, please just follow through the links and you're able to do that. And the other thing that we're offering as well, I'll talk a little bit more about Care Business Hub later on, but if you do join Care Business Hub, you'll get a free hard copy of the book. So continue to celebrate with us, guys. Please do help yourself to a book on Amazon. It's available in an ebook. It's available as a paperback version. I prefer the paperback version myself. The ebook is good because it's easily accessible. You can read that quickly on your phone if you're looking to just quickly get a sense of what am I supposed to be doing. But the book itself, the paperback version, is actually really good because it enables you to put some notes and reflections as you go along, which I think is just such a great idea. You've got your actionable insights that you'll have, as well as your opportunity to be able to actually do some reflection and do a little bit of goal setting. So by the time you're finished with this book, you'll have written all over it. That's the whole idea. The more you write, the better. So do go and get yourself a copy.